Hello there, my name's Brandon and I make pictures out of tiny squares. And I've just got a quick video today. I'm actually recording this while I'm away on vacation / business related kind of things. But I've got just enough essential resources to be able to put a video together. So I thought I'd try because there is something that needs to be addressed. Every so often, there'll be some unexplainable trend that just kind of sweeps its way through the entirety of the pixel art community. One that stands out in recent memory was that one weekend where everyone was playing around with the pixel art upscaler tool. I did a video about that at the time that craze was going on. But we found ourselves in another viral trend this past week, which is the Princess Peach Redraw, where it seems everyone is redrawing her sprite from the original Super Mario for the NES. In fact, I'm actually quite late getting to this. I think the trend's kind of died down by now, and now I'm the one guy who's like, hey, are we still doing Peach redraws? I've been kind of out of the loop because I'm away, but I just started noticing earlier this week, like every time I check my phone, kind of at the end of the day, I'd see new waves of Peach redraws being posted every day, and it kept picking up steam, and it's pretty cool to see because you get to see all these different artists, interpret the same simple idea in their style. This even got so big that there's a whole entry for it now on the Know Your Meme website, which I know is not like the highest echelon of journalism or anything, but it was good to see because they actually credited the origin of this trend to a Twitter post by pixel artist Justin Sire from September 9th, where it looks like he was really just casually posting his redraw, but for one reason or another, this just really took off and inspired so many others to do the same thing. Now, as we can see, the original sprite uses a total of 3 colors, which are the white, the orange, and the red. And the black that we see is actually just transparency of the sprite, and that's showing through to the black background. For the sizing, the original sprite is 16 pixels wide and 24 pixels tall. So for my redraw, I'm going to stick to those same restrictions, which is sort of what it feels like a lot of other artists were probably sticking to as well. And I pulled up a few reference images here of the more modern look for Peach just to use as a guide, where the most significant changes for the pixel redraw would be to add a more interesting silhouette for the hair, and then maybe see about adapting some of the notable features of her dress as well. Instead of keeping the coloring flat like in that original sprite, I've tried incorporating some black or transparency as a bit of internal line work or heavy shadow in certain spots. This can help sort of give extra weight under the hair, or creating some dimension between the arm and the body so that it's easier to read. And I've started with this simple, unassuming pose for her, where she's just holding her hands out in front, which I think was one of the theories or interpretations of what her original sprite might be trying to look like. But either way, in the end, it's just sort of a fun evolution from that original starting point. From here, what I'd like to do is try a bit of animation where she's actually changing up her pose a little bit. So in the original sprite, it really does look like she's pointing off to the side, and I saw other artists having a lot of fun with this interpretation of the pose. So I wanted to do this thing where she goes into kind of a finger guns kind of posture with it. And I'm just planning a few frames just to get that started. I thought it'd be funny also to see her put on sunglasses to do this, just because it kind of captures that vibe where it's sort of like this deal with it sort of attitude. So I'm creating the last frame with that final pose, just so we know what those two extremes of the animation are going to be. And then to connect those two poses together, I think it just needs a couple frames where we see her hands basically come up and place the sunglasses on her face. And, it'll be a small thing, but it should make for a nice smooth motion. So if we just test out those first 4 frames, we can see most of the idea taking place already. And you can see on that second frame, I also bumped her height down by a pixel, which was just to give this bit of like spring-loaded action to that change in pose. So this is already feeling pretty good, but I want to try having her lean back by 1 pixel on the finger gun sprite. It just sort of feels like that's the attitude for it, right? And then maybe the other thing we can do is actually to have the hands alternate up and down, just to give a bit of like pew pew sort of action to it. So I'm just going to get those final things into place, and let's go ahead and take a look at the final sprite. Here we go. Alright, well there's my addition to the Princess Peach Redraw phenomenon. Came out with a pretty cool attitude, I think, too. So with the hotel situation, we'll have to skip CRT time this week, but I hope you enjoyed seeing this all come together, especially if you have already seen a lifetime of Peach Sprites this week. So thank you for watching, and take care and keep it square.